certain points brought up in the petition mentions a, quote, democratic deficit. This word was, or this phrase was mentioned over and over by many of the representatives in the recently held IPCO meetings in the Netherlands. 3 islands, so-called countries within the kingdom, met prior to sitting with the Netherlands in the main IPCO meeting, agendas that had been set months in advance, etc., etc. Certain things were brought up. No, we can't discuss these things because they're not on the agenda today. And that's the reality of why I still opted to speak. The agenda for the next meeting is not yet set. It's not yet finalized. We have a parliament, and as my colleague MP Bryson, who also sits on the Kingdom Relations Committee with myself, MP Heiliger, and MP Peterson as faction representatives of the Kingdom Relations Committee, and the newly elected chair, Heiliger, and vice chair, Peterson, have a very strong responsibility in representing the Parliament of St. Martin in these CCARE and IPCO meetings with our, I will say again, so-called kingdom partners. What I learned as the then representative, as the then chair of St. Martin's CCARE, Kingdom Relations and Interparliamentary Relations Committee chair, was that everybody agrees that there is no equality in this kingdom as it pertains to the 4 so-called partners. We have, as my other colleague likes to say, the colonizers, former colonizers. We have the former colonies trying to be countries. Agreements were made, but the key point in this petition that I wholeheartedly want answers on is the stance that the Netherlands has taken in agreeing to the United Nations Charter, that is the highest level. So every other regulation falling under that, just like how here in St. Martin, our constitutional court can overturn a decision of Parliament because it doesn't fit within whatever law we passed, did not agree or does not agree with our constitution. And the Kingdom Charter is then the one that falls above us. The UN Charter is the one that falls above that one. So therefore, those statements within this petition are ones that I can wholeheartedly support. Because if we are functioning right now under agreements that have been made in contravention to the highest law that we fall under, then that is something we have to fight. And we can't only fight it on one level. What we saw also in these meetings at Kingdom Relations, at IPCO, is that the Dutch Chamber could not tell, apparently, the minister or the state secretary who is assigned to deal with St. Martin and the other islands on this side, what to do and when. They wrote him a nice scathing letter, and he replied. He replied in the media, he replied, and he's offhand. He doesn't seem to care. I guess he's politically protected, just like how we can have that right here. So it is what it is. We have copied their system. We are in their system, but not even since 10-10-10, since we were at Netherlands and Antilles, certain provisions should have been made to really bring about a full measure of self-government. A full measure of self-government.
SXM, connecting you.
GEBE has been faithfully serving the communities of St. Martin, powering your home and our economy. Come rain or shine, our qualified team of professionals are working hard 24 hours a day to provide you and your family with safe, reliable electricity and water. We use the latest technologies and test our products daily to maintain the highest international standards. Our friendly staff is always there to assist you, whether in person, over the phone, or online. We are committed to constantly improving our products and services, making them more efficient, effective, and environmentally friendly to serve you better today and our next generation of clients tomorrow. GEBE, powering a brighter future.
Our friend Megawati is here with tips to save you energy. 1. Turn your airco temperature up. 2. Use a ceiling fan instead. 3. Buy energy-saving products. Save some green with NVGEBE.
How this has to be remedied. This is how this has to be approached. But Madam Chair, it is dangerous if we link independence with accusations towards individuals, whoever they may be, because then the impression will be created by the public, oh my God, if we become independent, then it means that our leaders can do anything wrong and get away with it because they should not be prosecuted. But on the other hand, if we are living in a society or in a system in which our leaders are targeted and targeted wrongfully, then yes, we have to speak out as a people. We have to stand up as a people, and more so as Parliament and government. We need to do something about it. My colleague Emmanuel spoke about it yesterday as well in terms of the screening, because the impression is often, and I've said that at the closing of Parliament, I believe it was, the impression is often created as if the screening of our candidate ministers is done by the Netherlands. That the Netherlands is the one who is conducting the screening, and they decide through the screening process who will and who will not pass the screening. I think it is good for the public to know that the instrument, the legal instrument that gives the basis, the legal basis for the screening, is a document signed by our first Prime Minister and by the Governor. By our Minister, Prime Minister, and the Governor, giving our screening process its legal basis. And if we want it changed, we should be the majority who support the government, should tell our Prime Minister, Madam Prime Minister, we need to change the screening process. We have heard so often also that we should put a screening law, turn the screening law into an ordinance and bring it to Parliament, debate it, and have it approved here in Parliament. Who is stopping us from doing it? We can't blame outside forces because we are failing to fix the screening process, to fix the screening process of our candidate ministers, and that makes it impossible for certain ministers or candidate ministers to pass the screening. So if there's something wrong with it, and we created it, then we got to fix it. But don't smoke screen and pretend that there's some outside force or some people from Mars or from another planet or from another country that is using the screening to fail who they don't want in government. Madam Chair, when the whole discussion started with the Integrity Chamber, I was in We arrived that same day in the Netherlands with my colleague Frans Richardson. We were there in the lobby of the Mercure Hotel. And when we got the message, the email that came in with what at that time Minister of Justice Dennis Richardson had signed on behalf of the government of St. Martin, our reaction was incredible. Incredible. Absolutely not. And what for me was more disturbing, the fact that government can sign an agreement with the Dutch government, that is their prerogative. But when you're going to compromise the integrity of Parliament, when you're going to compromise the free mandate of members of Parliament by stating in the document and agreeing in the document that when this draft integrity chamber, when this draft law is passed, no changes can be made to it without prior approval of the Netherlands.
Hey ma, how you doing? You busy?
I hear, just paying some bills, taking care of business, you know what it is?
I know, you're doing your online banking.
I don't have to stand in those long lines to pay bills. I can transfer when I want. I can check my account wherever. It's like the bank open 24/7. I even here checking the statement right now as we're talking. How's Miami?
Well, that's why I'm calling. I'm finishing up a few songs now, but I'm afraid that studio time might be more than I thought. And I was wondering if I could get some help with some funds, and I could pay you back as soon as I get back to St. Martin.
Let me check my account. How much you need?
I think 500 should be enough.
I can transfer it to you while online. Direct from me to you. No problem.
Great. Thank you so much, Ma. I'll get online with Viv now.
Alright, darling. You know who you're for?
I need to know who you're for.
Contact WIB today for your complete personal online banking experience. Available for all mobile devices. The Windward Islands Bank, now your online banking partner in progress.
Hi, what's up, St. Martin? My name is Rene Leverett, and I play baseball. And I've represented St. Martin in numerous international tournaments and professionally around the world. Sports matters to me because it reveals and develops character. So I challenge the business community to step up for sports and help us rebuild and repair our facilities. I also ask the community to nominate local businesses in your area to take the challenge and step up for sports. Because hashtag sports matters, hashtag are you in?
Just to mention again the Too Cool to Loot campaign, it's still ongoing. The Ministry of Education, Culture, Youth and Sports, in collaboration with UNICEF Netherlands, is continuing the Too Cool to Loot campaign. This initiative is aimed at promoting hurricane preparedness and highlighting the negative effects and consequences that looting has. Looting is stealing during a time of disaster, and this practice is illegal. And we want to ensure that our children understand this fully. The program coordinators will be visiting all elementary schools with the My Cool Kid hurricane kits to distribute those to the students. And I encourage all elementary school managers who have not already scheduled their visit to contact the campaign team at toocooltoloot@gmail.com and make arrangements as soon as possible for the team to visit their school. Speaking of cool, one of our young St. Martiners is representing St. Martin at the Young Leaders of the Americas Initiative. That is Charity Cantav Sam. She's among 250 selected representatives from across Latin America and the Caribbean who began this 5-week fellowship in the United States. The Young Leaders of America's Initiative addresses the opportunity gap for youth, especially women, by empowering entrepreneurs and civil society leaders with the training, with tools, with networks, and also with resources that they need so that they can transform their societies and contribute more fully to economic development and prosperity, security, human rights, and good governance. Charity, continue to be the phenomenal young woman that you are and keep holding the St. Martin flag high. This Friday, September 28th, 2018, will be the official opening of St. Martin's 50th Carnival celebrations. This year promises to be bigger than ever before. As Minister of Culture, with my team from the Department of Culture, I want to ensure that our children understand how this celebration is part of our heritage as a people. Therefore, through the schools, there will be maypole and folk dances, masquerades and mask making, mako jambi workshops, costume and float designing, and much more. All these creations will be showcased in a truly creative cultural parade in collaboration with the St. Martin Carnival Foundation. We want to ensure that we teach the next generation about our food, our flora, our fauna, and the natural beauty of our land, and what earned this friendly island the title of Gem of the Caribbean. As grand as this year's events will be, let us ensure that our children are properly accommodated and supervised. I look forward to seeing and hearing excellent productions of our local talents, as I'm sure that they have much inspiration to muse on. I encourage all participants to showcase the true spirit of Sualiga in this season. Let our festivities pay homage to our heritage, the food and friendliness of our island. On Thursday afternoon, I've been invited back to Parliament for 2 sessions. The first session will deal with the appointment of the chairman and the members of the Monument Council. I expect Parliament to ratify the names that I've submitted for the position of chairman and for the position of members of the Monument Council. In addition, during this session, the first law ever to be submitted to Parliament by the Ministry of Education, Culture, Youth and Sports will be debated. It is the law on study financing, and hopefully tomorrow afternoon it will be approved by Parliament. In the second session, the members of Parliament will continue to pose their questions regarding the state of the schools after Hurricane Irma, as well as the state of arts and sports facilities and programs.
One,
2,
3,
4. This is how common it is to develop a mental illness. 1 out of every 4.
4,
4. But there is hope. Today, most mental illnesses can be managed and treated. Visit your general doctor if you feel concerned about your thoughts and behaviors or have some difficulty dealing with some of life's issues.
If you have been diagnosed and are suffering from a mental illness, keep in mind these 4 points to help you manage your mental health.
1. Get regular checkups with your general doctor.
2. Stay on your treatment plan to prevent relapses.
3. Find a strong support group in your family and friends.
And 4. Never be afraid to ask for help and look out for the warning signs of your illness.
Remember, you are not alone. We are as close as one.
2,
3,
4.
Learn about mental health illness by going to the Mental Health Foundation's website at www.mhf-sxm.com.
It's been said that behind every door, possibility awaits. How much possibility depends on which door you open first. Every day, we help our customers discover the possibilities in their lives. It all starts with a conversation. Scotiabank. Discover what's possible.
We at St. Martin Agricultural Eco Research and Development Foundation are more focused again on economical changes and individual changes, because we cannot really change the economy if we cannot change the individuals that habitat that economy, and that's the most important thing first. We can't look at making all of these positive changes if we don't have challenges and positive people to also influence them or come up with new strategic approaches or ideas to basically challenge these issues. Now, we as the Agricultural Research and Development Center, over the past 4 years, our focus has been coming up with new innovative techniques and ideas on how to preserve and conserve a healthy nature, coming again from the ground up within agriculture. Within it all, we've also learned that sometimes sitting outside the classroom is a much greater learning environment than being inside of the box of the classroom, where we get to build our human and social interaction amongst others also, that hopefully can be also come part of our team towards the bigger picture, which is individual change. Where do we want to accomplish these individual changes? Amongst our communities, entrepreneurs, and hopefully the world at the end of the day. We don't want to just keep it for ourselves. If we are gradually making progress, it's always great to share that progress. Now, having a centralized place like the Agricultural Research and Development Center, we were able to gather a lot of different data by conducting surveys in different areas: community development, health, agriculture, arts, sports, social, economical development, different things of that in science, that also allowed us to get a better picture and understanding of how to approach the situations in our community to be able to how you say, make them more, not such of problems, but more situations that we can definitely be able to solve. We don't look at things as problems, we look at them as situations, because situations is something that you can always solve. That's your first way of thinking. If you think that you could already solve it, then it's probably already solved. But if you think of it as a problem and something complicated, there's 2 ways you could look at it. It's either the problem can't be fixed or the problem can be fixed. So if it can be fixed, why worried about it? And if it can be fixed, why worried about it too? So the situation is trying to find the best solution to deal with the circumstances to get positive results. So over the course of the few years, we've been conducting research in those different areas that help us to understand, especially, let's say, in St. Peter's, where we live in, the problems that we face, such as waste management problems, unemployment, elderly people that need extra help and attention in our communities. Basically, after the storm and before the storm, the situation with the wells and the different distribution points in our communities that can be utilized to have further effect on those approaches. And therefore, we came up with a lot of different strategic plans and ideas that were basically pre-IRMA, that were basically supported by a lot of different organizations in the direction towards gathering much more information to see if these approaches will be viable to be able to take and implement in our communities. And not just our community, St. Peter's, but each and every community that surrounding the island. So with that, we got to figure out that, hey, you know, St. Peter's alone is a community that has 4,000 houses, for example. It's a lot of people. Average 4 people per house. 50 pounds of garbage average per person, per household, which means that there is an average of, let's say, 250,000 pounds of garbage per week that leaves the St. Peter's area alone, which is 1 million pounds of garbage a month that is actually just going from one area to our dump. So now we're still trying to solve the dump problem too. I'll get back to that. But then if we don't understand how the problem starts, we'll never be able to try to find a positive and viable solution for it either. So this is why, again, certain strategic developments in our community, when we look at community development, it's important to develop certain infrastructures or organizations within our communities to help us find out what the problems that the communities are facing so that we may be able to help solve those situations to help the community thrive a little bit more better and for the near future. When do you think we should start doing all of this? I think we should start doing this from yesterday, last week, last year. You know, because it's not getting any better, it's only getting worse. And it doesn't take more procrastination and time to move forward in the implementation of positive things, developments that can be done amongst ourselves in communities to make the change starts today.